Welcome to another episode of the Balancing Hormones Naturally podcast, where we offer actions and steps you can take today to start balancing your hormones naturally. This is your podcast host, Leah Brueggemann. I am a functional diagnostic nutritional practitioner. I am honored and excited to be your guide on your journey to better understanding your hormonal health and how it affects your everyday life. Okay, so this is a slightly different episode than we've had before, but I know that a lot of you guys are not in the Facebook group, and I don't want you to miss out on this. So we only open the Hormone Reset Program up 3 times per year, and this is the time where I can take so many more women at one time because it's a group program. And obviously, since it's not one-on-one, it's a lower cost investment, and the community is just incredible. So I wanted to let you know that the Hormone Reset Program is open. All the details, pricing, all that good stuff is in the link in the show notes. So definitely check that out. Shoot me a message if you have messages. Shoot me a message if you have questions. But what I really wanted to share with you is actually the stories of women who have gone through the program, because, you can hear from me all the time about, hey, this is what you need to do for your health. But I don't think there's anything as empowering or just makes so much sense as hearing women who have gone through it, that aren't me, because I've gone through it, but hearing other women who are in your place share their stories. So I have 2 different interviews that we did in the Facebook group from some ladies who have done the past rounds of the Hormone Reset Program, and they have 2 completely different stories. So I thought it would be really helpful to share their input from 2 different sides and kind of hear what they have to say. So if you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me a message. So I would love for you to share why you joined the Hormone Reset Program. What was the straw that broke the camel's back?
So my straw, I think, would be going to my doctor, and I had all those random symptoms that I didn't think were all connected until I met Leah. So it was like the unexpected weight gain, which for me was really out of character. I've been able to lose weight really easily. I always had a high metabolism. I talk fast, I move fast, everything's fast, and my weight loss just stopped. And it was Lent, and I was fasting, and I was eating good foods, and I was exercising, and I was like, I'm not losing any weight at all. And I'm really agitated, I'm really angry, and my hair's still falling out, and my baby's almost 2. And it was just all of these like random things. So my husband's like, well, you just go for a checkup, like at the doctor. You haven't been in like 2 years. I was like, all right. So I go, and no holds barred, I tell her everything that's wrong with me. I'm like, low libido, like I'm fat now. She's like, well, you look fine. I was like, you don't know me. Like, I don't, like, this is not what I look like. I go, I have no energy. I'm snapping at my kids. I'm snapping at my husband. I'm probably going to snap at you soon. And I was like, I go, this is not normal. And she was like, but you look fine. Okay, well, I'm really glad that you think I look really nice right now, but that's not my problem. And I was like, I've had hypothyroidism before, like in one of my pregnancies, and I feel like I've got some of those symptoms going on again. And she was just like, well, you don't look, I was like, who looks like they have hypothyroidism? Like, I don't even know what it looks like. So reluctantly, she was like, I'll run some labs for you. And I was like, oh, good, because I told her, after watching Leah's videos, I want the full thyroid panel. Like, I don't just want, she's like, yep, we got everything. I was like, okay. She's like, I'll run your, like, vitamin levels and everything. I was like, great. Well, that was super easy. And I get down to the blood draw thing, and they're like, oh, yep, it's just like your free T4 and the T3 or whatever. And I was like, but I wanted the full thing. And so they didn't give me the full thing. And my doctor calls me, and she was like, they're fine. Your vitamin D is low, but you're fine. And after watching Leah and researching, I was like, well, low vitamin D is a sign of like part of like the bad thyroid. And I was like, they go together. But she's like, no, you're fine. And I was like, okay. And you had a video on, or you were doing something. And I messaged you, and I was like, Leah, these are my numbers, and they don't seem right. And my doctor says I'm fine. And Leah's like, no, those are not good numbers. And she was like, you should do the hormone reset, like when it comes around again. And I was like, all right, just sign me up. Where is it? Like, I watched your free challenge videos, the one before I joined.
Yeah.
And I watched them and I was like, oh, that's such good information. Oh, Leah's so smart. Like, I'm going to do that. But I'm not going to join the hormone reset because I don't have all of those problems. Like you talked about PCOS and these people with heavy
Yeah.
bleeding for months. And I was like, well, I have spotty before and after, and I barely have any cramps. Like, I'm sure it's not my period. And I wasn't really paying attention to you when you're talking about how all of this stuff is connected. And I didn't think that
Hmm.
it was. So I thought that I wasn't bad enough to join.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
was like,
Yeah.
my symptoms aren't that bad. Like, look at all of these women who have awful things going on and they're getting help. And I'm not one of those women. I don't need any help. Maybe just a little bit. But I was like, I'll do it on my own. But I don't do things on my own. I'm awful. I have
You're
5
right.
kids. And I'm just like, wait, what was I supposed to do? I wrote it down in a notebook somewhere. Let me find it. Let me look at Leah's videos. And then I forget.
Yeah.
So you said, like,
Yeah.
here's the waiting list. And I was like, that's it. Boom, I'm signing up right now. Which was awesome because then I got the one-on-one call with you. Because I was
Yeah.
stupid and I didn't do the VIP, which I should have done. And she always says it in all of her videos, like, sign up for the VIP, you won't regret it, and you regret it if you don't sign up for the VIP. But I did have a one-on-one call with you, which was great because
Yeah.
the group calls are great, but I'm forgetful. So by the time you're done with all of the great information that we're all writing down in our notebooks, I'm just like, what was I going to ask Leah? And I was like, I should have wrote it down. And I was like, well, or if I wrote it down by the end of the call, I was like, well, maybe it's not that important. Maybe I shouldn't bring it up.
Hmm.
And so then I was like, no, no, this is important. So that
Yeah.
call with you was great for me. Like, I feel like I learned so much from there. And I still have like the same video and it's all written down. So when I forget something or I
Go
fall
back
off
and watch
my
it.
wagon, yes, I go back and hate watching myself. But I'm like, yes, let's go back and listen to Leah. And so I just feel
Yeah.
like there was all these little things that I was like,
Hmm.
I didn't I didn't connect the dots that any of them went together. And for me, I always thought it was more my thyroid, but I didn't realize that that's all of your hormones and that's all connected to everything. So,
Yeah. You are not alone on that, because the amount of messages I've gotten literally this morning from people who go, but I don't have PCOS and I don't have heavy periods and I don't have painful periods. So like, how would this help me? But I struggle to lose weight and my moods are all over the place. And I'm like, exactly. Like, you don't have to have every symptom under the sun to have hormonal issues. You don't need to have every symptom under the sun to want to feel better. Just like think like back to when you were thriving and you felt amazing. It's like, do you feel like that now? Okay, then
yeah.
no. There's some work we can do. Okay, so walk me through your journey with the Hormone Reset Program. Ups, downs, how it went. What was your experience?
So right before it started, because in your free challenge you were talking about coffee, I gave up coffee, like boom, right before the
Yeah, I
going on.
remember that.
And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. No more coffee. And I thought that would be so hard because everyone was freaking out in the group. They're like, when do we have to give up coffee? Is it coming? Is it here yet? Can I still drink it? And I was like, no, I'm giving it up right now. And that I feel like gave me energy, which like if you think that's so
Yes.
counterproductive, you're like, I was drinking 3 cups a day. Like I was drinking one at 5 o'clock at night. And everyone's like, how are you gonna go to bed if you're drinking coffee? And I was like, I will fall right asleep when I hit that pillow. Do not worry, the caffeine, I feel
Hmm.
like it does nothing. So I would drink like 3 or 4 cups a day. And so I gave up coffee before it started. And I was trying to eat healthy right before it started, so I could get like a jump. And I think the hardest part for me was on the elimination diet was giving up gluten because I just started making sourdough and I loved
I
making
saw
it.
your pictures.
And I loved
Yeah.
making it. It's so good, but I just knew like listening to you and then there was a few other people that you had mentioned on like Instagram and I was following Health with Fifi or Healthy, I forget what
Yeah,
her name.
yeah, Fiona. Yeah.
Yeah, and she has Hashimoto's, so I was like listening to her and she was like, don't eat gluten, and you were like, don't eat gluten. I was like, ma, but I really love gluten. So, but I stuck with it. I think I only like slipped like 2 times during the elimination diet, which for me was really good because, like I told you when we started, I love sugar. I love candy. I was drinking maple syrup out of the bottle. Like,
Mm-hmm.
those things were hard for me to give up. What
I
was really
literally remember seeing you type that and I thought it was a misprint. I was like, no, she's not drinking maple syrup, is she?
she's
But you
drinking, and then
were.
yeah, I've got the ball jar with the cute little flip top, and I just guzzle it down. And my husband's like, "Are you drinking that out of the jar?" I was like, "No, just a little bit." So, but I was amazed at how far I went without having all of that sugar. Like I bought the cocoa
Yes.
powder, and I was making like hot cocoa, like after the elimination because I
Hmm.
didn't have milk during the elimination. But and I had bought oat milk, which I thought was going to be weird, but really wasn't that bad. It was things that I thought would be like, ugh. which really weren't that bad. And I think that was the scariest part going into it. I was like, I kept psyching myself. I'm like, all right, the elimination diet is coming. I can do this. I'm going to be okay. And then I was just like freaking out a little bit. But I don't know if it was like the giving up coffee or the balancing my blood sugar, but like my acne went away, because that was one of the things I told her. I was like, I have hormonal acne. And it would get to the point where I counted one day, I had 50 pimples all along my chin.
Wow.
And you don't realize how self-conscious you are. Even if someone's like, oh, I'm not vain, I don't care how I look. When you have 50 pimples, like in various stages of redness, whiteness, and disgustingness, and they're in the corners of your mouth and all along here, like, you feel crappy about yourself and you get depressed, and you're just like, all right, well, whatever. Like, I'll just put some makeup on. And then you're like, well, you can see the makeup caked all over my acne and nothing helps. And it's depressing. And that added to like the depression. As I'm telling the doctor, I was like, I think I'm kind of depressed. Like, not kill anyone depressed, but like, I'm not like happy as I should be, as I was. And I'm like, I should be happy. Everything's all great around here, but I'm just like, man, it's fine. I don't care. So that like my mood like increased, and then like my hormonal acne was gone. So I was using this cream that I found, and it was the only thing that helped. But if I ever stopped using it for like a day or two, like they started to come back. And so I stopped using that right before the hormone reset program started, because I wanted to see when they were coming. Like, is it pre-period? Is it pre-ovulation? So I was able to see like as they started to come back, like where they were. And then when the elimination diet started, that's when they started to like go away. So, and I had also stopped drinking coffee, and I feel like my stress levels never go down as much as you always talk about.
Leah would like them to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the other day I had a bat in the house. My well's dry. Like, we have construction going on. We're adding 2 bedrooms and a bathroom, and there's now like sheetrock dust all over my house. So everything is like, so I had like a lovely like 1 pimple, just 1 though, and I've like gone through all the rest of my cycles with no pimples. But I was like, of course, right before I go on the video, but I was like, the stress, it won't leave me.
The fact though that like that's just 1. I mean, that's incredible. Like, to go from 3 cups of coffee and like literally needing to drink maple syrup to like have that energy to like stabilize your blood sugar is huge. And I remember, what was the day like you messaged me where your husband asked like if you were on crack or something because you had so much energy, and you're like, where did it come from? I hope it stays.
I was cleaning the house. Like, I was like, this house is so clean, my husband's not going to know what to do with me. And it was funny because you're like, oh, you know, when spouses are like, oh, I'm so glad you found Leah. Like, Andrew had one of those moments, because like I was happier and like your libido's back, and he was like, what's up with you? And I was just like, wow. And I was like, I feel like it's a combination of things that are making me like feel normal again. And he's like, is this because of Leah? And I was like, yes. He's like, well, thank goodness you found Leah. And I was like, there's my thank goodness you found Leah moment. Like,
It's the best when the husband says that, you know, because you're just like, see, I told you. I am like having something going on.
Between right before the program started, when I gave up coffee, and then like almost near the end of elimination, I had lost 10 pounds. And,
that's crazy.
And I wasn't exercising, which I always like listen to the videos of like, what do you mean you weren't exercising? But I was eating, and I was trying to walk once in a while, and Leah's like, 30 minutes of exercise, but all of our construction was going on, and my treadmill is right in front of our picture window, which is now all right in front of our construction workers. And I tried to hop on there once, and I feel like they all smirked at me, and I was like, no, I can't walk on my treadmill while they're all watching me. I can't do it. And then by the time they're gone, I put the kids in bed. I was like, I'm going to walk on the treadmill, and then I just don't do it. So I wasn't really like exercising like I used to. I have a rowing machine. So before I did the program, I was rowing and I was running and I was doing HIIT workouts, and I was like, nothing is working. And then I lost 10 pounds and I didn't work out. And my husband's like, you look like you lost weight. And I was like, I did, but I didn't even do it. I don't know how it happened.
Yes, and that is the magic of fixing your hormones. Nobody believes it until it happens to them. And I always have that fight where people are like, I don't want to eat more food, Leah. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm like, just trust the process. Trust the process.
Put more protein on your plate. And I was like, okay, yes, more food. I got it. Let's do more food.
Yeah, more food. We can always do more food. Okay, so talk to me. What would you tell the person that was you before the hormone reset? The person that like you signed up for multiple ones of my challenges. You had watched all the people go through. What would you say to that person? They're either scared or they're just like, I'm not sure, like all the things.
So it's nerve-wracking to be like, I'm going to spend how much? But you always say, like, how much have you already spent on your health? And how much do you plan to, like, spend on your health? So I was like, all right. So the extended payment plans, I think I just
Mm-hmm.
made my last one. I think my last one just went through. And we've been done for, like, how many weeks? So it was great
Mm-hmm.
because I got to break it up so it wasn't too bad. And it's scary because I'm sure most people don't know you. And I didn't know
Yeah.
you. I knew, like, friends of yours. And we, like, I know, like, your
Yeah.
sister-in-law and, like, stuff like that. But I
Yeah.
didn't know you. And to be like, here, Leah, take my money. Please, please don't run away with it. Please help me. It's scary because everything on the internet, like, oh, I wonder if that's a scam or if this, like, if you don't know Leah, you should because you've been watching all these videos and she's great. But she's not going to take your money and run. And it's you just got to do it because I did the round before I did the hormone reset program. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do it. It's not for me. It's too much. And
Yeah.
then I'm just like, if I had done it then, I could have lost probably more weight by now. Like I would have been ready for
Mm-hmm.
my summer weddings. Like this would have been great, but I didn't. So I would say
Mm-hmm.
sign up now. And
So we love Alex. She's a riot. So now let's hear from Jen, who was in, I think, was it the last round? I'm losing track at this point, but I hope you enjoy her story. Okay, hi guys. So I brought Jennifer on because I wanted to have her share her story because there's so many people that have reached out to me and they're like, I have all of these issues coming off of birth control. I went on birth control because I had heavy periods, painful periods, and the doctor told me that this was my only option. Like, what else can I do? I'm scared. And I was like, you know what? Jennifer needs to talk to them because I know that's exactly where you were before. So I would love for you to share where you were before birth control, kind of your experience with that, and then why you decided to come off of it.
Okay, so basically, I had been on birth control actually forever. So I
Okay,
was
wow.
13 when I started birth control, actually like 12 and a half. And I had heavy periods ever since they first started, so heavy that I would bleed for like a month or two at a time. Super heavy, saturating through a pad or a tampon in an hour and a half or something like that. So imagine going to school like this and constantly having to miss classes because I'm bleeding through,
Yeah.
terrible cramps, painful
Yeah.
cramps. And so my doctors put me on birth control pills way back then. And every time I tried to get off of them over the years, I'm 43 now. So over the last 30 years, I tried to get off of them numerous times. And every time they would take me off of them, my heavy periods would just go insane. So they used the birth control pills to kind of control the bleeding
Mhm.
for 30 years. And then it got to a point in the last 5 years, I would say, where they just really stopped working entirely. And it
Wow.
didn't matter what pill I was on. They switched my pill up numerous times. I still would have super heavy periods, painful periods. I would faint from the pain of the cramps.
Oh my
And
gosh.
they tried IUDs, they tried everything basically. And they were finally like, you're just going to have to stay on the pill forever. And I even asked them, like, I'm over 40. Should I really be on this? And they were like, well, there's no other option.
Oh gosh. And that's frustrating because you're like, it's not even working anymore. And they just tell you that's all you can do. So was that the last straw? Like, what made you be like, I need to join the hormone reset program? Like, what was the straw that broke the camel's back? Or you were just like, okay, that's it. I need to do this.
So my doctors, I had gone to like a million doctors over the years also, and they had all said basically the same thing. There's nothing we can do. You have to stay on birth control pills. And I did not feel comfortable being on birth control pills this long. I felt like it wasn't right for my body. And so I started researching things, and my previous OBGYN told me I needed to get surgery because of the heavy bleeding. It had gotten to the point where I was bleeding for like 6 months at a time
Whoa.
and super heavy. I was hemorrhaging for like 7 to 9 days a month. I'd be severely hemorrhaging. And so she said I needed to get an endometrial ablation. And was kind of just, I just felt like there had to be something that I could do that would be more natural, not super invasive like a surgery, and that could help. And so I was researching things. I found you on TikTok, and you were saying everything that I was experiencing, like to the letter. And
Yeah.
so I started following you, and it sounded great. It made sense to me. And so when I did the 3 day challenge, the free
Yeah.
challenge, I figured, okay, well, what can I lose? I can try implementing these changes. And I started right away. But I did sign up for the Hormone Reset Program because I thought, okay, I had just quit my job. I had a little bit of savings that I had from quitting. So I thought, I have the money right now. I'm going to make the investment in my health because it's either this or get surgery. And I don't want to get surgery. I don't want to continue on birth control pills. So this can't hurt. And it wound up
Yeah.
being life changing for me.
I love that too because it's like making some nutrition changes and some lifestyle changes, like it really can't hurt, like obviously unless you're allergic to something. And so it's just crazy to me where it's like nobody is offered that because it's not, it's not like there's massive side effects to changing up your nutrition in a positive way. So thank you for sharing that. I didn't even know you had quit your job right before HRP.
Yeah.
It's news to me. So walk me through your experience with the Hormone Reset Program.
So right after the challenge, I immediately started doing the seed cycling and the temperature checking. And that alone was just like mind blowing, like seeing where my cycle was. And I had also, just like you had mentioned, I had come off of birth control pills right before starting the Hormone Reset Program. And I was worried how my body was going to adjust because previously I had crazy symptoms when coming off of birth control.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started the Hormone Reset Program immediately after getting off birth control pills. And it was amazing. I had zero symptoms really of getting off of the birth control. Everything seemed to go so smoothly. Within 2 cycles, I had already reduced the bleeding time down to, I would bleed for 5 days a month. And 3 of those days would be moderate to heavy. That's compared with I was bleeding right before I started the program for 2 months straight, and I would bleed for like 12 to 14 days heavily.
Oh
so
gosh.
It was crazy how fast the changes really helped my body to get more in balance. And I did struggle with some things, especially the blood sugar balance. That's still a struggle for me. I'm still working with that. Also getting my exercise routine cycle with my cycle. So I'm still working on things, but doing the 8 weeks, I went through 2 cycles with you. I've had 2 cycles since doing the program. They've all been nothing short of amazing to me compared to 30 years of nightmare cycles.
That's crazy. I know you guys have incredible wins and you share them and everything, but when I hear it from you, like face to face, and you're just like, this was what my periods were like before, it's crazy how debilitating periods can be, but how crushing it is that we are just told that's you're a woman.
Yeah.
Like
And
that's just your life.
I didn't believe it would happen. And so like the first 2 months when I was on the program and going through this and seeing the changes, I was like, yeah, but what's going to happen when I'm done with the 8 weeks? And it's still working. So, and I'm not even, honestly, like I'm not even following 100% right now. I'm still working with the blood sugar balance. I'm still working with my eating. And so I know that it'll just get better the more that I
But you have
put
all
into
of
it.
these tools in your toolbox now, and it's just, that's crazy. I love that. So what would you say to somebody who is where you were, because I know that it's really scary to invest money, into some random person online, no matter how much information from me that you have taken on. But then secondly, so many of us, myself included, have spent thousands and thousands on doctors and getting tests and getting told there's nothing you can do, or trying all of the things and seeing no progress. And so it's like, what difference is this going to make? Like, that's scary. Like, what would you say to that person since you were there?
I would say I know exactly how you feel, and I thought the same things. But this is an investment that you definitely will never regret. It is a big sum of money to come up with, but I think about the monthly payments I was making on birth control pills all those years with nothing. All the doctor visits I went through, the surgery that I was going to need was going to cost an extreme amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of doing that, I invested this in my health and in something that was nutrition based, science based, and it works. It just works. And I'm so thankful that I found this, because it is so frustrating to not be able to go to work because your periods are so heavy, and to lose that money in that aspect as well. So it is a good investment overall, and I'm so happy that I did it. I can't imagine being back where I was again. Like, I never want to go back there.
Yeah. No, I get it. Like, there are still times when my period starts, and that warming sensation you get in your uterus. Like, I used to get that right before like my cramps would hit and I would start throwing up, and I'll get that warming sensation and I just kind of like sit for a second, and it's like a wave of like panic will hit me, and I'm just like, no, it's okay. Like, you don't have those anymore. But I mean, it wasn't that long ago that I did have them, so it's crazy. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing that, because I know there are so many women in here who are on birth control and they're terrified to come off because it's literally like all hell breaks loose. So I really appreciate you sharing your story, and I know that they do as well. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Balancing Hormones Naturally. If you found this helpful, I would love for you to share it with a friend and post it on your stories and tag Balancing Hormones Naturally podcast so we can get this message out. You can find me on Instagram at Leah_BRUEG, and I would absolutely love to hear from you.